Well, I'm not going to be able to get out on an adventure this weekend, so for your delectation and entertainment, I'm going to put out this video on tin cans, really, that I've been meaning to do for a long while. I've been looking at my previous videos and it's excruciating. If I say once in this video, other than then just give me a thumbs down, will you? So here we go. I'm going to try and make it a little more snappy so that I don't fall asleep when I watch them. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of a history on the stove development that I've gone through. Another little bits of tin cannery. So one of my first stoves was actually made from this piece of sheet stainless steel that I had. I cut it to size, riveted it together, very light, punched the holes for the primary air in the bottom. And the idea was that the insert, the inside of one of these travel mugs, insulated travel mugs, would fit inside. Drill the holes, then fit it inside. Holes in the bottom here, and there it is, nice and slim. And then there's other little tinkering about it. You might like this one. This is kind of an interesting shape. Look, I didn't invent this. There's other volcano stoves out there, and you can see pretty much how that goes together. And the idea was that you could do it up and undo it as you needed it. I don't know whether this will come apart. I haven't. Yes, it will. It was unfold it, fold it out flat. I carry a chopping board in my pack anyway, so I fold it flat against my chopping board. And it was a kind of an idea for a flat pack stove, and I made the pattern out of, I think it was an olive oil tin, because there was enough sheet steel there to do it. And the idea was to make a stainless steel version where when I came across a sheet stainless steel, or maybe even titanium, I don't know, bit of a rarity, but anyway, it worked okay. It wasn't, not a startling performer, but it was comparable with the hobo stove, I guess. Number 10 bean can, some of you guys have seen that, when I made that, the billy can with a locking handle. But I wanted to create a stove that would fit inside that. This is looking a bit worse for wear now. It's seen a few burns, but the idea was that it fit inside the can. It also had a chimney arrangement which can actually fit inside the outer canlet and up inside when you remove the burn plate in the bottom. But this is the burner itself. It is it was my attempt at a gasifier stove, and it does gasify. It's a can within a can. You can see that. So there's a smaller diameter can with its bottom butted up against this one. 3 stove bolts through there, and in order to reduce the diameter to fit it inside and to make it nest, I just made a cut down there and a couple of slots there, and then just crimped it all in, and then as you can see there, wired it together. So again, it's all experimental. The lid that's cut out the top I use for the burn plate, and you just set it inside, and then again punching these holes with a bit of steel pipe, and then if you don't punch them out completely, it leaves you with little tabs, so you can bend these 3 little tabs in, and that just retains the plate and stops it dropping onto the surface there. And you can see that there's a spacer on the bolts there, so there is a gap between this tin and the inner tin, so that's where the gas would escape. And gasifying, it worked pretty well. I think my toasted spam sandwich video, I was using this, so if you go back there, you can see how well that worked. No complaints at all. It just, as you can see, they don't last forever. It doesn't take long to make, so I guess it's not expensive in time, but they get a little bit unpleasant to carry around, so I wanted something that lasted a bit longer, which is how I arrived at my stainless wood gas stove, which you saw in the last video. Sack there out of a trouser leg, like a lot of folks do. And that's the stainless wood gasifier. I'll come back to this because I've had some questions on it. So Sis got me this little kettle, which I love dearly. A little camping kettle. It was the cheapest one on the market. It goes and goes and goes, no problem with it at all. Very happy. But I really liked it, and I wanted to make it, see if I could make a kit around it. So I looked around in the stores, the different variety stores and things like that, and I came across a steel pot, very cheap, I forget what I paid, but just very, very cheap, very thin steel. And just so happens that that is the perfect diameter. Great. Hunting around, same thing, variety stores, looking through the seconds, and I found this frying pan, and lo and behold, it fits. Now I really love this little set. I usually wrap that in a bag so it doesn't rattle, but I love this little set. It's perfect. So I've got a pot, a skillet or plate if I want it, like the old Scout kit, and I've got the kettle inside, and of course I stow my tea bags and goodies inside there. So I need to sort out a handle. This is a bit of actually it's a bit of sail track. It's just a matter of rooting around and finding what you can use for purpose. You could certainly make something up like this. You'll find something somewhere. Look in window frame places and things like that. They've got different mouldings. A little bit of stainless wire, a little bit of imagination, and you can put the kit together. Yeah. And of course it also doubles as the handle. The frying pan for the saucepan. Great, eh? Bargain. Total cost, well, I think the kettle was $10, but the total cost of the made parts was something like $3. And it's a perfect little kit, very light, seems to be lasting me so far. Plate could be a little bit bigger, but I'll live with that, that's fine. I found this size and matched it with this. You can see that. One kind of falls inside the other. And I was just playing around here with a wire handle. That's a kind of a template made out of coat hanger so that it can fold over and clip. So another little flat fold away kit, again probably $3. Almost looks like it was made for it. Of course, once you get the handle and the clip working and you've made the template out of a coat hanger, then you get a nice piece of stainless wire and copy the pattern. I think my next project, I've just found this, $25, which is about $3 US. I want to make a little kettle, try and make a kettle out of that, use my tinkering skills, take the handle away. So you might see that in later videos. This was one of the first pots that I ever used. It's a Musa grease pot, and I found a small pot that fit on the top, and this handle actually are manufactured to clip on the pot. It was one of the first videos I ever put on YouTube. But you know, it's well overkill. I've lost the pot now, so I'm going to remove these handles and go for the normal butterfly handles. Video on that upcoming as well, as part of the tinkering topic. So, having played around with the other stainless gasifier, I walked into one of these variety stores the other day and saw a tea caddy. I thought, oh, that looks interesting, nice and small. And then I opened it up and there's another tea caddy inside. So, the inner tea caddy, drilled out, small holes around the bottom, small holes around the top, slightly larger at the top actually. These are quarter holes. No, they're not. I think these are just under ½ inch and these are quarter. One inside the other. It needs a little spacer in the bottom there to make it work properly. This is the lid to the smaller one. So I just cut the top out of that lid and that makes the flame concentrator. And the outside of that lid almost makes a seal on the inside of that pot. I have to pack it out a little bit and put a spacer in the bottom, but there it is. And then when you're done, put the lid on and put it back in your unused pot. And there's another one. Again, I think that was, I don't know, $5 or something for the 2 sugar containers. So back to the DIY stainless gasifier type stove. I did get some comments on the last one, and I guess looking back at the video, it was almost like I was playing the shell game. So just to sort of go through it and how it's put together, in as simple a fashion as possible. So the 14cm pot, 1/2 inch holes cut into slots because it's easier than drilling lots and lots of holes. The lid, this is the lid for this pot, and I just cut a disc out of the centre and fitted it very carefully to this inside pot here, which is a 12cm stainless steel mug by 3/5 or something like that. 1/4 inch holes drilled all the way around there. I think there's 16 holes there, and one fits inside the other, and that's really the basics of the stove. Of course I need a burn plate in the bottom. I just got a bean can, nice and cheap, punched some holes in the bottom, and that was going to be my burn chamber. But I since found a stainless steel potato masher. I thought, what the hell, splash out, and that's what I did. The idea behind the tin can burn chamber is it's disposable and it kind of keeps the coals away from the main body, hopefully trying to make things last a little bit better. So you can see that that's how it goes, and that's it. That's the burner itself. But after a few tests on this, I discovered that instead of the air, I mean, it burned well, it burned efficiently, but it burned very fiercely, and I think the air was going straight in the primary air intakes and then straight up the centre. So I made up a baffle, kind of experimentally, that I drop in there, and all that does, instead of the air being able to travel straight up the centre, now it hits that baffle and is directed up, and it really has made a difference. This thing works very well, I'm chuffed to bits with it. So that's the burner. You need a flame concentrator, which I got admonished on the video because I used a piece of scrap zinc, a bit of stainless, which admittedly not everyone would have. But you can either get the lid for this container and make the flame concentrator out of that. I was too miserly to do that, so I made this. In fact, initially, the flame concentrator was this. I beat it out of a number 10 can pot lid, just kind of with a ball peen hammer until I got a nice dome shape, and incorporated a wire pot holder, and that was the system at that point. Not ideal, because as the coat hanger got hot it started to sag. So I ended up opting for one of the cruciform drop-in ones, but you saw that. So, you know, those are the options. You can go for stainless, you could beat it out of a can, or you could use a lid, or you could use the base of any other cheap piece of stainless that you got. Certainly keeps it well under the $10 price tag. So that's that. 13cm pot. Made a simple bail handle out of some stainless steel wire. By the way, you can get stainless steel welding rods. It's a good source for these handles. Nice oval shape so it hugs the tin nicely, and that was designed to go between these two. This is where it kind of looks like the shell game. So this billy pot fits over the insert, but it fits inside the outer one. Take the baffle out and disappears. Isn't that great? Oh, and here is a shot of my best attempt at an exploded parts diagram. Thanks for watching, Scouter.